They say every town has one building that people just stop talking about, not because they forgot it, but because remembering it feels like summoning something best left buried. For me, that place was Jefferson Elementary. And no, I'm not a ghost hunter or some YouTube daredevil with a flashlight and a clickbait title. I'm Hal Kinley, 62 years old, retired custodian, Tucson, Arizona. I spent nearly 4 decades scrubbing toilets, fixing leaking radiators, and listening to old boilers hum like broken lullabies. Schools were my second home. I learned early that the soul of a school isn't in the classrooms or gymnasiums. It's in the silence between the bells, in the echoes of empty halls. That's where the real memories linger. I never chased stories, never believed in haunted buildings, but one place changed that. Jefferson Elementary, closed in 1986. Nobody officially explained why. I got curious after retirement, started volunteering with a preservation group, cataloging abandoned structures, old homes, fire stations, churches. Then came a request to document Jefferson. The team wanted someone who understood school infrastructure, so I went back. 30 years after the last child rang the morning bell. It was late October, cool air, dry breeze, the kind that whispers through window cracks. The school sat about 20 minutes outside Snowflake, Arizona. You'd miss it if you didn't know where to look. A crooked fence, a gravel path, and a 2-story brick building, leaning like it was tired of standing. I stepped out of my truck and stood for a while, staring. The front sign was still there, faded and rusted. The J and O were gone. Jefferson Elementary. It looked like a warning. The doors hadn't been locked in years. I pushed one open and was hit with that smell: dry, rot, old paper, stale air, the kind of smell you only find in forgotten places. I clicked on my flashlight. My boots thudded across cracked tiles. The ceiling had caved in on the east wing. Lockers leaned off hinges. Posters hung limp from the walls. Faded cartoons with messages like, "Raise your hand and be kind." The deeper I went, the heavier the silence became. Not quiet, like sound itself didn't want to be there. I started in the main office. Papers were scattered everywhere. One folder had an incident report, March 3rd, 1985. A student had gone missing after recess. No details, no follow-up, just a name scribbled in black ink. Abigail Timmons, age 9. I moved down the main hallway. Something about it felt strange. Every step echoed too long, like the building was repeating it back slower. I passed by room 2B. The door creaked open by itself. I peeked inside. Desks were overturned. A chalkboard still had writing on it. Spelling test, Friday. The date was October 11th, 1985. Underneath, written in smaller handwriting, "He's watching us." I turned sharply. Nothing there. Still, I felt it like someone had just slipped out of the room before I arrived. I continued documenting, snapped a few photos with my old Nikon. But every time I looked through the lens, I felt like I was seeing 2 versions of the place. One abandoned, one ... occupied. I made my way toward the restrooms. Water stains stretched across the floor like veins. A cracked mirror hung crooked. I wiped the dust from it and froze. My reflection looked wrong. Same stance, same clothes, but someone stood behind me. A little girl, pale face, dark eyes, school uniform, torn. Her mouth was open like she was screaming, but there was no sound. I spun around. The room was empty. When I looked back, the mirror was fogged again. But this time, something was written in it. He never left. That's when the temperature dropped. I'm not talking about a chill. I mean real cold. My breath came out in clouds. I backed out slowly. Every instinct screamed at me to leave, but some part of me, something old and stubborn, kept me moving. I found the stairwell leading to the basement. A rusted chain had been cut and left dangling from the doorknob. I opened it and clicked my light down into the dark. Concrete steps, damp walls, smell of oil and mold. I went down. Halfway through, I heard movement. Not rats, not pipes, footsteps, small ones, like a child jogging lightly. I held my breath. Then, from the bottom of the stairs, I heard a voice, soft girl's voice. "Mr. Kinley, my name." That voice didn't exist 30 years ago. I reached the basement floor and saw a long hallway lined with old janitor lockers and storage closets. One door was half open, light flickering inside. I pushed it slowly. The maintenance room was filled with broken tools, paint cans, and torn student artwork. But these weren't normal drawings. One showed a girl with black eyes locked in a classroom. Another showed a mantle, featureless, standing inside the boys' bathroom. And one had 6 stick figures lying in a boiler room, X's over their eyes. In the corner was an old wooden chair. Someone was sitting in it. I raised my flashlight. The figure was facing the wall, motionless, shoulders hunched. Then it moved, slowly. Its head turned, but not all the way. Just enough to show one eye, glassy black, dead. "Mr. Kinley," it said again, but the voice came from behind me. I turned around, no one. When I turned back, the chair was empty. I ran. I didn't care about the stairs or the light, or the echoing sound behind me. I took them 3 at a time. When I burst through the door into the hallway, something had changed. The light was dimmer, the air thicker. The lockers were now shut, every single one. I walked past them fast, but halfway down the corridor, one door creaked open by itself. I paused. Inside was a locker mirror, and in that mirror I saw 6 children, all staring out, expressionless, standing in formation. A 7th locker beside it had no reflection, just darkness. Then, suddenly, banging erupted from the inside. Rhythmic. Boom, boom. I ran for the entrance. As I passed the library, I caught one last glance. A child stood at the far end, still watching. I pushed through the front doors and stepped outside. But the school had changed. It was dusk now. The air was completely still. My truck's windshield was covered in dust. I opened the door, got in, and started the engine without looking back. On the drive home, my hands wouldn't stop shaking. Not fear, something worse. A kind of recognition, like a buried memory had just surfaced. That night, I pulled out the photos I'd taken. They were fine at first. Hallways, lockers, chalkboard. Then, I noticed something. In every image, there was a shape in the background. Faint at first, a little girl. Same position, same clothes. Each photo, she was closer. In the last photo taken in the maintenance room, she stood right behind me, staring, mouth open, no eyes. I shut the album. I haven't returned to Jefferson. I didn't tell the team what I saw. I let them believe I couldn't finish the job because of the mold. But sometimes, when I stand in front of a mirror and the room is quiet, I feel like I see her again, not in reflection, in my shadow. And I remember what she said. He never left. Maybe she wasn't talking about the janitor. Maybe she meant me.